All right, so we back. Let's see. Let's see how this goes now. 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Out there, can y'all hear me now? Had a little technical difficulties with the first stream there, but we back. Hopefully we get some alerts. Hopefully we get some alerts there real quick. But yeah, we back. Once again, we have a little installment here, a new installment about what's going on with the mothership. All right, Devon got a lot. It's perfect now. All right, that's it. I think I might, but the issue was internally with the streaming. The issue was internally with the streaming. So yeah, we was able to get that fixed up. Bobby Joe Billy, welcome back. He said, Bobby Joe Billy, I can't help it. Dang. Like that's not a New York name. Like that's a kind of name where me coming from New York, like if I'm somewhere, right, and I hear that there's somebody there with that name, then it's like it appears to me that I might need to be extremely aware of my surroundings. Hold on 1 second. Ooh, that was like magic. So what's the deal though? What's going on out there? Uh, Jula TV. What's been going on other than this right here? I'm staying updated. I'm staying updated. On some major things, but there's probably some minor things I'm missing. All right, Mr. Green One. As you can see here, we got another installment. You know what I mean on what's been the progress. What's the progress with the mothership? You know what I mean. This the same scientist. This right here is in the New York Post. Tonight's little clip that we're gonna be watching is from the New York Post, and they're keeping track of some very important matters for us out there. So what's going on? What's going on with you, Mr. Greenwood? Still there, Mr. Greenwood? What happened to you? The Beastmaster. It's been a minute since I seen the Beastmaster. But that was definitely look. I remember it was like a Beastmaster era. That's definitely a classic right there. Who else is out there? Somebody hit Don Bishop. See if we get Don Bishop in here before we get started. Before we get started on this update about the mothership. remember that was like one of the first things that I saw James Evans in. Again, like after the Good Times era, I had lost track of it. 793rd. Oh man, look, see, as soon as you start talking about the Beastmaster, you know 793rd is gonna pop out right there. But check this out, man. People is taking a little minute, so we're not gonna gonna fret about that too much, right? What we're gonna do is we're gonna get caught up here. Let's bring everybody up to speed. Let me bring y'all up to speed on some of this research that I've been doing here. I don't know if we could call it research, but some of what I've been keeping track of. Medina, what's the deal? So yeah, we see here that this story right here came out on November 21st in the New York Post by Ben Cost is the writer of this story. But let's check out. Let's see if we can check out what the update is in the progress with the mothership. All right. So without further ado, let's check this out.
Our object has been blazing through our solar system and has exhibited some peculiar characteristics that have puzzled some scientists, and it's making waves on social media.
7 jets of gas or plasma are now emanating from 3I Atlas. This is not something that comets typically do.
That looked like a damn galaxy, fool. And that very well could be a ship.
This Atlas, 3I Atlas, this comet, is really our galactic allies.
So what exactly is 3I Atlas?
See, that's the problem with a lot of things. Like, see, I'm trying to consider this on a scientific level, right? But then when I see these types of individuals, advocating for it to be a spaceship, see, just seeing them in that little small window of time right there, it makes me, I don't know if I want to be affiliated with these individuals, but I digress.
Why is it so mysterious? In July, NASA's Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System, or ATLAS telescope, in Chile, made a groundbreaking discovery. A potentially billions-year-old icy celestial comet blasting through our solar system. The discovery marked only the third time a mysterious object from beyond our cosmic neighborhood had been observed passing through our solar system, leading scientists to name the comet 3I Atlas. 3I for it being the third observable interstellar object, and Atlas for the acronym of the Discovery Team and their telescope. In the space agency's initial announcement after making the discovery, NASA announced the comet was believed to have come from the
understanding is the best part.
Direction of the constellation Sagittarius and posed no threat to Earth, with estimations it would pass 150 million miles away from our only known home. But as scientists further analyzed 3I Atlas, the interstellar object started showing some unusual characteristics, leading to some disagreements, especially from one scientist, on whether the object was a comet at all. Harvard astrophysicist Avi Loeb led the charge on the skepticism when he posted a blog in August claiming the cosmic nomad appeared to be emitting its own light. After Loeb and a colleague analyzed photos released by NASA of the object, the astrophysicist theorized that 3I Atlas's glow was likely not reflected from the sun, but rather from a source diameter smaller than 100 meters. The brightness profile analysis led Loeb to speculate that the nucleus of the object could be in fact nuclear and possibly an engine crafted by alien people. Though Loeb said they still needed better evidence, the astrophysicist also said that a nuclear-powered 3I Atlas could also explain the object's suspicious trajectory.
It comes very close to the inner planets other than Earth, like Jupiter, Mars, or Venus. And the chance of that happening, given the trajectory, one can change the arrival time of this object, and only in 1 in 20,000 cases, you end up with such a close proximity to the planets because they orbit around the sun, and the chance of being so close to them is very small. The unusual trajectory of this object offers the possibility that it might have been designed so as to have some goals of a reconnaissance mission.
But even with Loeb's alien theories now circulated in the media and online, NASA maintained that 3I Atlas was merely a comet, and fellow scientists also shared their own skepticism about Loeb's claims.
It's irresponsible science. This is just coincidence, the path that it comes through the solar system. There's a perfectly natural explanation for this. It is behaving like a regular comet. Once it's close enough to the sun and Earth and big enough to reflect enough light that we can see it, it just becomes another speck of light that's moving among the stars. And then, they're discovering a lot of these every night. It was becoming interesting once you trace the orbit to something that's from outside the solar system.
But whether scientists believe in 3I Atlas's alien origins or not, the celestial visitor has kept scientists on their toes. In August, an analysis of brand new images revealed 3I Atlas was covered by a conspicuous cloud of carbon dioxide, shocking space experts. The pictures showed 3I Atlas glowing bright red with a seemingly threatening aura during a phase expected by scientists called outgassing. But even though scientists anticipated the outgassing phase as the object approached the sun, the object dumped out a conspicuous amount of carbon dioxide and a surprisingly small amount of water and carbon monoxide, according to experts, including Loeb. In a blog post, Loeb wrote that 3I Atlas's outgassing was 16 times more extreme than expected for a typical comet at the same distance from the sun. And as the comet continued its course closer to our star, Loeb started sharing starker warnings about the object. During an episode of the Soul Foundation podcast with Congresswoman Anna Paulina Luna, Loeb said people needed to be skeptical about what the experts were saying.
We have to be careful about experts declaring things as rocks in the sky because we produce some space objects, and the question is whether other civilizations did as well. And of course, the UAP subject is a derivative of that, because if we are visited by a technological object like 3I Atlas, it could either visit us or release some mini probes that arrive at Earth and appear as UAP, and we need to be aware of that possibility.
And the mystery surrounding the celestial object continued. As it sped closer to the sun, scientists from the European Southern Observatory's Very Large Telescope in Chile reported a dramatic rise in cyanide and nickel outgassing, which changed the mysterious object's color from red to green. The object then started emitting a metal alloy never before witnessed in nature, known as nickel tetracarbonyl. Coincidentally, the type of refined compound is used in metal coatings in manufacturing, including in the aerospace industry, to strengthen surface materials. Loeb even accused NASA of withholding critical information about 3I Atlas, when he told Joe Rogan on his podcast that the space agency had reportedly snapped an image of the celestial object when it flew by Mars, but that the image was never released.
3I Atlas came within 30 million kilometers of Mars, and it was taken by the high-rise camera on board the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, which is operated by NASA. As you remember, October 1st was the government shutdown. So October 2nd, the data was taken, but it was never released. I wrote to the principal investigator of HiRISE, asked, can I get the data? I'm a scientist. You can do the press release afterwards. I would like to see it.
Right.
No response.
And as the object continued its journey through our solar system, it exhibited several more science-stumping phenomena. While approaching its closest point to our solar star in a phenomenon known as perihelion, Loeb cited a report from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory, which he claimed provided the first evidence of a non-gravitational acceleration by the celestial object. Loeb noted that while most comets get a slight boost when their ice turns to gas and spouts out like a jet, an event known as the rocket effect, 3I Atlas was showing way more zip than expected during its approach. As the object sped up, it also shifted colors again, appearing bluer than the sun, leading Loeb to speculate that if it wasn't a natural signature, it could also be a hot engine or source of artificial light.
who knows what just happened right there. But so far, what say you? So far, look, tinfoil hat material. Tinfoil hat material, or is it time to get your affairs in order? I don't know what happened there. We're gonna get back to the rest of it. But those that have had a chance to check that out, right? What side are you going with? You going with I mean, well, the guy does have. We would have to say he has some credentials there because he is, according to these articles that I've been following, he's a Harvard professor, a Harvard scientist. So I don't know which way are we leaning here in the chat.
The sun, prompting the Harvard scientist to suggest that the object might have also exploded into multiple pieces. This dramatic weight loss would seem to point to the object's cometary makeup, but Loeb is not willing to rule out extraterrestrial origin.
Wait, because I'm saying,
leading Loeb to speculate that if it wasn't a natural signature, it could also be a hot engine or source of artificial light. Images captured on November 8th of the strange object even led Loeb to theorize that the object had a complex jet structure, which could be a set of thrusters used for navigation of a spacecraft. Loeb also noticed that 3I Atlas was losing an insane amount of mass after making its closest pass of the sun, prompting the Harvard scientist to suggest that the object might have also exploded into multiple pieces. This dramatic weight loss would seem to point to the object's cometary makeup, but Loeb is not willing to rule out extraterrestrial.
or, and this is just a possibility, or, right, a bunch of baby planes could have just been released. I'm just saying, in the realm of possibility.
Origins just yet. Scientists are still certain, though, that 3I Atlas is just another comet. According to Futurism, on October 24th, the Meerkat radio telescope in South Africa finally picked up the first ever radio signal from the object after 2 failed attempts in September. The telescope reportedly detected radio absorption lines by hydroxyl radicals, which are created when water molecules are broken down by sunlight. The radio signal discovery now suggests that Atlas is a comet that's losing water when flying by the sun, and not a potentially hostile alien probe sent to do recon on our solar system.
A lot of people have pointed telescopes at this. The telescopes show in every way that this is a normal comet, but there are some voices out there that persist in saying it's aliens. So I'm here to tell you it's not aliens.
Scientists will have a chance to determine whether Atlas is natural or technological when it makes its closest pass of Earth on December 19th, 2025.
So
a mysterious Manhattan-sized interstellar object has been blazing through our solar system and has exhibited some peculiar characteristics that have puzzled some scientists, and it's making waves on social media.
7 jets of gas or plasma are now emanating from 3I. This is not something that comets typically do.
That looked like a damn guy.
For all of those that's been wondering, you have to handle all your affairs, right? Get everything, whatever you need to do, right? All the people that you need, that you want to tell them that you love them, right? You got any people in your family you've been arguing with or whatever. December 19th. December 19th. is the day that look, you got that's now, right? Hit the cash app. Look, I'm gonna be too busy on the 19th. I'm gonna be too busy actually on the 18th. So if you don't have that in, if you haven't made your bid by the 17th, right? You done. You might as well just go ahead to the bar. You might as well go ahead to the bar, right, and just have some drinks or whatever, and just wait it out. That's about all you can do. But I'm sure. So, Julia TV said Avi Loeb is a fraud. This is the third time an alien spacecraft is supposed to pass by Earth. So, is that according to Avi Loeb, or is that just in general? Like, is this the third time? Because that would tend to, not be a very good look for Avi Loeb. If we were to find out that, in fact, Avi Loeb has been waiting for this spaceship. I mean, look, you know what we're really, because y'all know me. If the next thing that comes out is Avi Loeb tells us that that's the wheel, then I'm going to be very disappointed. I would be extremely disappointed if Avi Loeb says that, in fact, this interstellar object is the wheel from Revelation. But what do you mean? Because 3I means it's the third interstellar object. Not per se spaceship. That's a little bit different. Speaking of outer space, you remember the guy? He had various names. I think Fred Kelly, whoever he was, something Carter, but he was Wakil's student from Atlanta. So he contacted me yesterday on Instagram. I ended up having to block him, but he wanted me to know that he knows the truth. He knows the truth that the black woman is God. So eventually I just blocked him because certainly I didn't want to hear that, and then beyond that, it's, I don't really know you. You know what I'm saying? Like, if you don't really, I don't know. Maybe for women that's cool. I don't know. But like a dude, you contacted me, and then you just trying to make a point. Like you ain't talking no business. It's not like we have some other acquaintances or something. Like you just calling me to, you know, give me a piece of your mind. See, that whole thing is just is pause. So eventually I cut him off because, I thought he was going to say something, you know, uh, maybe something that would lead to more understanding, but in fact, no, that wasn't the case. So the interstellar object is literally something from outside the known cipher entering ours. That's symbolic of knowledge entering the mind, truth entering the world, or enlightenment penetrating the darkness. That's you talking about a UFO. See, I don't think. That's the thing. Is no one's taking into consideration. See, everybody's saying, "What if it's an alien object? What if it was made in Japan?" That's what I'm saying. It's like y'all not being very scientific. Y'all not considering all the possibilities, right? When creating your hypothesis here. Who's who's on this Oprah stuff? Yeah, I don't know. That's the thing with that particular brother though. Like that particular brother, I don't think he I don't think he what's the how do I put this? Because this is a family channel. Um I don't think he has relations. I don't think he has relations with uh biological women. He may be he may be having relations with some anatomically correct, but not biological women. Uh, but things have changed to where it's things that I see dudes doing now. And apparently you can get power. You still doing that. You know what I'm saying? Where like that wasn't uh that wasn't the way that wasn't the a lot of women wouldn't made your acquaintance if you was behaving in that manner years ago. You said if it's made in Japan, why is it in outer space, flying in the solar system? Because Fard he had to go by the spot. You don't ask him his business. Don't ask him his business about what spot that is and what he went to get. But now that he went to the spot, he handled that business, right? And now we're seeing him. He's on the way back. Kareem Wattis, welcome to the channel. Kasib Shah. We have a very speaking of goddesses, we have a very I have a very interesting we're gonna be going back to Professor Liang, right? And he has some very I thought it was interesting commentary on, you know, what he termed pretty much like the goddess era. You know, it wasn't, you know, dealing with our son. You know, Professor Leanne, he comes with what he comes with. So we're going to check it out. You know, we just doing the knowledge. This is how you do the knowledge. See what I mean? And then we apply our wisdom, right, in order to differentiate, right, what we observed, right, the truth from the illusions, right, the permanent from the temporary, the left from the right, the up from the down, right? She said when a spaceship lands, we got to check under the hood to make sure it doesn't say made in Japan. Now it's going to say Nippon. You know, that's actually what I thought you was going to say. That when it lands, right? This is what I'm saying. Look, somebody, let's do this right here, right? Because far and Elijah, those are our brothers. You know what I mean? They ain't seen us in a long time. So let's do this, right? I'm gonna be the dude in the back seat, and you be the driver, right? And let's pull up next to the mothership, right? And then I'm gonna run down the window and ask Fard, would you happen to have any Grey Poupon? Who's down? Who's down? Let's roll up. Let's roll up and welcome the brothers in style. You said, should we be expecting an invasion soon? Is that what you're saying? I'm not sure I understand what you're saying. See, this is what I'm saying. How is this an invasion when these people is from right here on the planet? That's Elijah Muhammad's from Georgia. Why we keep talking? Why we keep talking this you know, this alien stuff, like we don't know is what. How could that be an invasion? Hey, Supreme Man, Bill Belichick of New Jersey Pop Warner. You know, I saw the link on Facebook, but by the time the link that I'm talking about, hold on, we're gonna take a minute out right here because we're gonna see we talking about the stars, we're gonna talk about some other stars. Supreme Man is he's the Bill Belichick of Pop Warner in New Jersey. So his team played today for the championship. And the game was broadcast on YouTube, but I saw the link too late, so I missed the game. Right? So I don't know. Can you what are you going to do? Can you repost the link? Is it if you slow you blow? We missed it. But at any rate, what was the deal with that? How the young came out? Did they? Because this team, for those that don't know, right? They were unscored on. No one scored on this team for the whole season, right? So that kind of gives away the other great stat that they had is they was undefeated. So here it goes right here, 20-0. The Young Brothers won, right? Finished the season undefeated, right? And with a perfect defensive rating. I don't know how much more perfect you can get than never having been scored on. So hey, look, I found out yesterday that along with never being scored on, that a team only one time got into the red zone on them. So did the team manage to get into the red zone? I'm saying this is bad. This is why I see Supreme Man. I said, see, look, like I said the last time. So you got these kids probably got family that came from all out of state just to see they nephew playing the championship game, and then they get shut out. See, if y'all never played sports, y'all don't understand. See, because look, the other team, look, they probably only lost one game too. What was the Supreme? What was the other team's record? See, look, they've been talking all week. Now they got to go back to the block. They got to go back to the block, man. So, yo, what happened, man? I don't even want to talk about it, dog. That's wrong. That's wrong, Hanif. That's wrong. So the other team was 7-1, and they only loss was to your team from the jump. So now they 7-2. See, that's wrong. You could have let them get one, and then y'all could have had both of y'all could have had one. Y'all could have dealt with equality. You could have showed the team that winning is not everything. Once upon a time, that was how we used to tell us. You gotta play the game the right way. Can't be cheating. So we trying to hurt people. Winning isn't everything. You see this? No mercy. This is just no mercy. See, it's not supposed to be no mercy in Little League. That's my point. that's See, I don't know if the rest of y'all understand this the same way I do. This is wrong. So you have to call out wrong when you see it. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to the young brothers. You know what I'm saying? They earned their championship belts there. You know what I'm saying? Let's see if they able to repeat and then three-peat. How much longer the people on this team now, right? How much longer they got to be eligible for this team? You see this? Of course, they was talking crazy before the game. They said, "Ah, man." You see. You see. But yeah, getting back to this right here, Supreme Man, you just coming on. But you know, we've been so going up to 160 next year in his high school. So they got one more year. So let's see, man, if the brothers so you moving up with the team. Like when I was playing football, we had the small fries, the peewees, and then the midgets. So you moving up like with the peewees to the midgets, because You went from the midgets to high school. Right. Yeah, that's dope. You know, except 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 that somebody man, a coach with more mercy might need to come at least be an assistant or something next year. We can't call it. But either way, we don't know if that's gonna happen. Because Supreme Man, we just got word that December 19th, that's the day you need your affairs in order. You know, being that you just coached the little league team, I think you're pretty good on righteousness. I don't know if you need to purchase a ticket, but I've already let everybody know, right, that the bidding is open, right, and all accounts must be settled by December 17th. You know what I mean? Because I'm gonna be complete and get my affairs in order. I'm gonna be complete getting my affairs in order on the 18th, and then on the 19th, that's the big day. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all want to check that out again. If y'all want to check this out again, this video that we watched over here with Avi Loeb, the Harvard scientist, right, who has been making observations of this interstellar object, and he has some questions about whether this is something natural or whether this is technological. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all want to check that again, we can check it again. But we know what this is. This is 3I / Atlas, which stands for the third interstellar object that has been observed traversing our galaxy, and it has been detected by the Atlas is the system that it has been detected upon. You know, and so right now we're asking we're asking here, you know, is this tinfoil hat material? Look, I'm glad you said that. Right? What happened in 2012? The Mayan calendar. Remember that the Hebrew Israelites said that too, right? And yeah, that's one of the things that because uh, in my time, I remember first it was 1999. That was the first, it was like 1999. Then you had 2000, just in general Y2K, a little bit more specifically, and then it was that it was supposed to be 2000, but Y2K wasn't really gonna have whatever impact until 2001. Then it was 2012. You know what I'm saying? There's a guy who he had a church. He passed away now, but he kept predicting that it was going to be. He kept predicting when it was going to be the end of the world, when Jesus was going to come back. You know what I'm saying? So that's the interesting thing about this, right? That's the interesting thing about this, right? It's reported that it's moving at 58 to 68 kilometers per second 129,000 to 152,000 miles per hour. Artificial objects launched by humans cannot achieve these speeds naturally without enormous propulsion. Can't be from China. You mean from Japan? Yeah, it can't be from China because if it was from China, it'd be bootleg. Boom, boom. That's what. Look, shout out to the Chinese, but he was a straight man on that. He lined that up. That wasn't even me. He just left that hanging out there. Pretty man said, I got my Reynolds Wrap Kufi on lock. What happened to Planet X Nibiru? I mean, listen, all of these is the various things, but look, here's a question, right? Here's a question, right? Now that we brought up this end time stuff, right? When it's the end times, what are you looking for? Like, are you looking for 99 virgins? Are you looking for death, hell, and destruction, or love, peace, and or peace and happiness? Is everybody gonna make it into the hereafter? Is 144,000 gonna make it into the hereafter? See that question right there, right? Once we start looking at it like that. See, because some things happen, you know, especially look when you deal with life and death. You know what I'm saying? And you hear people talking, right? They speaking in memory of somebody who passed away, and they look up in the sky. Or people say, you know, and I'm telling you, these are things that I've seen amongst the 5% of saying, you know, he's in a better place. You know, this person or that person is watching over us. So if this, if it, if it, if it, uh, if it lands, right? Somebody asked a while ago, right? I said, look, we're gonna ask them when it lands. We're gonna ask them, would they happen to have any Grey Poupon? But when they get out, right? What are you expecting to happen? Let's say if it's them, and I'm just and look, this is I'm asking, right? I'm asking because uh, you know it's significant. Uh, you know, like I said, I like to know who everybody is. And so, see, there's things from you know every level of existence, right? Meaning that it's indoctrination that you had in church, it's indoctrination that you had in the school system, it's indoctrination that you have from watching TV, indoctrination from listening to the radio, indoctrination from looking at YouTube. But see, that's just one of them things where it's like, okay, what, level of indoctrination, right? I just like to know what level of indoctrination, if any at all, a person might be dealing with that I'm coming in, right? That I'm in the same cipher. You know what I mean? It could be an insignificant level of indoctrination. But see, look, our training, right, is that everything comes from ideas, right? The seeds of the ideas that a person have, right? That's how they come up with they views and they understandings, right? A person, you observe certain things from the outside, but you got certain standards that's already been indoctrinated into you. Right now, they could have been indoctrinated into you because of some real things that happen, right? Meaning that, uh, you know, let's say there's a group of people, right, that they've caused harm to you in the past, and so now that's already in your mind. That you meet somebody new, right? You never met this person before, you don't know, but you find out that they're one of that group of people. Now all they did is walk up and say peace. But now that adds with the experience that you already have, right? And the principles that you've established based on those experiences. He said, I got beef with the mother plane because why won't they help us then? They just sitting back watching us go down. That ain't righteous. I mean, uh that's my issue with, religion, religious, uh, the gods of religion in general, right? Is that if we go back through the history of time, right, we can, you know, we don't have to uh, discriminate here, right? We don't have to discriminate. We can say that uh, multiple gods have failed us for millennium now. You know what I mean? But at least in this period of time, right? The different gods that we've believed in, right? I'm talking about all the way back. I'm talking about Shango and whoever else, right? And don't get me wrong. So even when you speak about other religions or whatever, right? That might not be even how they see God, right? Is that he's somebody that's going to come and do that. So we are still speaking from uh, kind of a, I guess you could say, a Western religion kind of perspective there, right? But uh, none of those, spirits or or gods or whatever at any time, right, has saved their people. Unless you want to go with the white supremacy, right, and say that, okay, well, Christianity ended up, if if you go with the might is right, and so you say, well, okay, Christianity, the Christian Christ blessed the Christians to wind up on top, right? But even with that, that would be, uh, that would be a huge stretch on a lot of different on a lot of different planes. You know what I'm saying? But I do think that that's the mentality of, kind of that Christian right that Christian right kind of political theology there. You know what I'm saying? That because that justifies the manifest destiny too. You know what I'm saying? That's at the end of the day, that's what they saying, right? That this is a Christian nation that God blessed them with, and that's why it's okay that they killed off people to establish it, right? That's why it's okay that they enslaved some other people to establish it, because ultimately, right, their God is right. They pretend like that's just some ancient stuff that people used to say, but they still doing it now. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that, look, the Shintoism gods didn't save them. The right paths of Buddhism, right, didn't save the Japanese, didn't save the Chinese, didn't save the Tibetans. Hinduism, right, didn't save the Indians. I'm saying it's various things, right up to the present moment, right? Christianity is not saving the people in Ukraine. It's not saving, Islam is not saving the people in Sudan. Those mystery gods of those religions that those people is worshiping. So all across the board, you know what I'm saying? My standpoint is that we on our own. Like, see, even right now, I'm saying, look, until December 19th, we on our own. There's a lot of things, even in terms of, have you ever looked at this? The mystery god, right? Or whatever, whoever it is that various people believe is supposed to come back, right? We're held to a higher standard than them. You know what I'm saying? Like, one of the most standout ones, right, that I caught on to as a child, like 8, 9, 10, this caught my attention, right? It caught my attention. King Don, welcome to the channel. But look, just say peace, Darkim. I don't like this. See, when you start saying that great God stuff, that's. And I know. Look, I got love for you too. I know you're not saying it like that. You don't even have to say that you don't mean nothing by it. Cause see, I'm funny that way, right? Where I'm very observant, right? And then some things just trigger. It just, it triggers certain ideas and everything, right? So just, the Muslim guys talk like that. And just in general, we regular. Like I'm saying, all of us, we regular. You see what I'm saying? And sometimes people get caught up in that language, and then they gassing themselves up. You see, you said peace, great God, be like peace, great Almighty. And see, now we in a mutual masturbation society, right, where we gas each other up. And then see, by the time we leave each other in a conversation like that, where we telling each other how great we is, right, then it provides the illusion in our mind that we actually went outside and was great. So yeah, we the greatest. That's I understand what you're saying. But a lot of times, just say peace, man. You know, we can be regular. See, because then you would throw these people off too. You would throw these people off too. The people who is observing this, that they not us. Right? So then now they don't understand that I'm not a holy man. Right? I'm not the rabbi, I'm not the minister, I'm just another brother with the knowledge. Right? That, you know, depending on who you are, I might have more experience at it or with it than you. You see what I'm saying? But you know, sometimes the people who don't understand, we always got to pay attention to that, right? Because the people who don't understand could they lack of understanding, right, can lead to devilry. That's why you gotta be careful, right, with those who don't understand. See, when you got the 70% satisfied, right, and then how much percent dissatisfied? See, because they wasn't getting no understanding from the cipher. They not getting the best part from the cipher. And so now that lack of understanding led them to be susceptible to uh, weakness and wickedness. The dynamic jab. He's from, hey, listen, we got Billy Joe Bob. We got Billy Joe Bob and the dynamic jab in the same live stream. I think 2025, we can say 2025 has been successful now. That's all we was waiting on. That's all we was waiting on right now. Just look, somebody call up YouTube. Somebody call up YouTube and tell them send that plaque. That's what it looks. You know, I be having people like I told y'all. The dude, he called himself Wise Understanding. I can't remember. He's Fred Kelly or whatever. Yeah, he texted me. See, that's what people gotta know. People gotta know that we got people on our side like Dynamic Jab. So y'all keep y'all keep it up. Keep it up if y'all want. See, y'all keep messing with me. See, y'all try to take me out. See, Dynamic Jab might just feel the need to step in right there. He might feel like, you know what? Time for me to step up. So y'all better count your blessings right now with me. That's what I advise. That's what I advise to a lot of y'all individuals. But getting back to because look, that's in the lessons. Like, look, here's a question, right? And you can answer it if you want. It's halfway real, halfway rhetorical, right? What will be your rewards in regards to destruction of the devil, right? Or will you not receive rewards because you're one of the devils that will be destroyed? For those that choose themselves, right? For those that choose themselves, and look, we're not looking for Elijah's answer. See, some people, you looking like, for instance, look, what about, you know, see this it's a mentality thing, man. like, see, you have in some, see, in Yakub science, right? Part of their reward is supposed to be them inflicting, them being able to use the 70% satisfied as a footstool. Right? So I'm just saying, right, as a matter of what kind of person you are, right? What kind of mentality you have. Is that the kind of reward that you're looking for? Are you looking for a magical reward? Something like all the colored people, like you're gonna walk outside, right? And all of a sudden, all of the colored people gonna fly up into the air in the rapture. Yeah, dynamic jab. Look, if they planning on going to a mystery god, then what else they expecting except a mystery reward? But here's the thing about the mystery reward, right? The rewards is always earthly. Like whenever the people talk about heaven, right? It's always the best part of living right here on the planet Earth. It's always the best things about right here, right? Nobody's going to be hungry. 99 virgins. It's always described in terms of it being the best part of right here. So the rewards I'm looking for is the best part of being right here and right now. Not, listen, I don't want no mystery rewards from no mystery God at no mystery time in the future, right? When he come and all the cemeteries open up and all the caskets open up and all the spirits fly into the air. Yeah, nah, I ain't got time for that. See, like Supreme Man said, look, why you ain't come back and fix the stuff that's going on right here? See, even if he up there, right? Let's say the mothership. Let's say that's the mothership. When he come back, he can't do nothing but improve the situation right here. You see, at least to my knowledge, we got Jigga 1017 in the room, right? To my knowledge, the mothership is not, well, see, I guess I got to take that back, and based upon it being the wheel, but based upon the science of it being made in Japan, right? And far not dying, he disappeared, but I'm saying it's not a thing like Jesus died. And so now this is, this heavenly stuff is on another plane where it's like, okay, you're going to take us into another plane of existence that's not on this physical. Nah, they said that he was on the mothership, right? He didn't even perish. So you still in this dimension right here. right? It's not, you're not supposed to come back and shoot at no spiritual demons. You're not supposed to come back and take no spiritual demons off the planet. So if it's not that, then where are you taking us? What was the point of you telling us the whole time, this is the home of Islam, this, we got an owner of this, right? If you come and take us someplace else, what's the point of that? And then on top of that, why would we go? if this is the best part, check it out. Because look, that's what I'm saying. That's the okie doke for the jump. If we've already chosen the best part, and you promising me that there's more gold someplace else, now you see why I fooled me twice. Shame on me. why, why would I go with you? Why would I take that trip again? Right? It doesn't make sense. See, I gotta get that cut right there. That little clip from Professor Leanne. It makes no sense. Like type 1 in the box. Look. If I'm bugging, type 1 in the box, right? But if it's possible, I'm just saying if it's possible, right, that could be falling for the okie doke twice. Type 2 in the box. If it's possible, right, and getting on another ship and leaving where we've already chosen as our best part, right? Or is there in my office? Is that is that not? There's no parallels there. So that's what made me say that. Look, even if that's him and he's up there, right? When you touch down, all you could do is make shit better right here. You see that? It's every time we build on this topic, Alfonso comes in. You know, that's one of the things, you know, that's one of the things that, you know, I mean, it's multiple answers that it could possibly be, right? But I'm saying Al is Arabic, right? Al is Arabic. You know, Al Aqsa and all this, you know. But what about Fonzo? What is, does anybody in here uh 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 what's the brother's name from out there in Chicago? He always watches the next day. Asu Kelly Dandela. Yeah. Because he speaks Arabic. Can you give us a little translation there of what Fonzo? I've been wondering that for a while. You know, if he's from Mecca, right? Now, don't get me wrong, you know, I'm thinking that you have that 700 years, right, where you had the Muslims in in Spain. So I don't know if that's, I don't know what keeps going on with my other, but we get it. We'll be right back. You know what I'm saying? But, you know, anybody out there that can do that little translation for me there. I've been looking for the answer for that for some years now. He said, my reward would be becoming the best version of self with a great quality of life, or perhaps the reward would be what Elijah promised in the 13th problem in the problem book: luxury, money, good homes, and friendships in all walks of life. Dynamic Jab said, not sitting home waiting for that mystery God to bring food. Yeah, the rapture is crazy, man. Never understood it totally. Destroying America. Who's going to rebuild it if we're lacking in tech? Yeah, I mean, look, I don't make this stuff up. I just report it. Shaolin Zen, Shaolin Zen Wu Yi. Interesting name. Welcome to the channel. Uh, what is what's your righteous name? Because like we gotta, you know, see on for the new people that don't know, right? You know, some people got names, right? Like, you know, we got Don Bishop. You know, we got Wise Bezos. You know, it's so, you know, the original Mr. 120. It's various people, but you know, I think we're gonna need, you know, I'm gonna need, because I don't know if I'm gonna be able to recall this every time. Shaolin Zen Wu Yi. I might remember that. Zen Wu Yi, now that I say it. But see, you gotta do like you gotta manifest something that goes with that to really burn that idea into my head. So I was told Alfonso means the armor of God, Isaiah 53. A professor of theology told me that Alfonso means the arm of God. So in what language? That's you know, that's one of the things, you know, because if it's in Isaiah, then I would kind of hazard, you know, like I'll go out on a limb and say that that would mean that it would have to either be in Hebrew, Greek, or Latin. Alfonso being from Mecca. So, you know, that's why I'm you know, we doing the knowledge. He said, I keep hearing Fard was locked up in San Quentin, so maybe 120 came from California. I doubt that seriously. But in terms of that connection, right? All right, Justice Allah Born. Oh, all right, that's Dynamic Jab. That's very, very clever. Oh, Shaolin is my class channel. That's Zen meditation, Wu martial art, Yi medicine. So you got another page where you teach that stuff? Meditation and martial arts? That's the other channel? But in terms of that connection, right, there was a guy named Lucius Lenin. And he was locked up in San Quentin in the years prior to Fard getting there. And he was teaching Islam and black nationalism. He's first recorded in the 1890s because, you know, he's getting arrested and he's going, you know, different, he's traveling different places. So his name is being registered. You know what I'm saying? So there's records of him going back to the 1890s saying that he's the Mufti of Islam and he's from Egypt and Morocco and these various places. So, you know, I don't know if Fred the Tamale guy, you know what I'm saying, and all these various people, this is all stuff that we, you know, we paid attention to it. But I'm just saying, if there's a connection there, it might be through him. That maybe, like I said, some people that he was teaching may have still been in there when Farr got there. You know, these are just possibilities, though. You know what I'm saying? This is not, you know, at the end of the day, nobody knows, right? Nobody, you know, can really corroborate, right? But we know what Elijah Muhammad said. And so, you know, either, you know, of course, we're going to do the knowledge, we do our due diligence on everything, right? But, you know, Elijah Muhammad has a good record, as far as I'm concerned, with, you know, with matters of knowledge. So with that, you know, there's at this point, right, from the information that I got, right, we've got to take somebody's word on it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't have DNA proof. They don't know where he's buried. You know, there's various rumors of this, different people who was a part of the Nation of Islam, even, you know, don't necessarily give the same accounts. So, like I said, you know, just with Elijah Muhammad's track record, that is the kind of, you know, kind of the base information that I move with. So you said I'm not gonna believe this. I don't know. After 2025, you know, or really, I would say the 2020s. You know, since the 2020s have been in existence, the only thing that I can't believe, and you know, even that's a stretch, but I understand what you mean, right? The only thing that I can't believe is that I won't be able to believe whatever you say. That's about the only thing right now that's beyond. That's about the only thing right now that's beyond the level of what I might be able to comprehend. But you got classes in this though, FDJ Beats. Okay, you said here, you said I was looking up the name Alfonso and stumbled on this. The Arabic word for dark well, you got this, you got the actual word written there, so I can't read the Arabic, right? But it says the Arabic word for dark is pronounced Muslim, but with a Z. So that's separate. You say now Muslim, the Arabic word for dark is Muslim. Oh yeah, now I didn't even know you had classes. See, everybody we need to go over We need to go over to FDJ Beats other page over there. What is it? Shaolin Zen Wu Yi, and learn how to meditate, so we can be calm. So we can be calm in these days and times, right? You don't want to be panicking. You don't want to be panicking when the mothership starts landing. See, when you see a baby plane or two, and you feel your anxiety on the rise, right? You want to have that breath control. You said, I thought I had put my lessons, Quran, and Bible down for the night, but nah, even brought the mother baby plane by Elijah after you mentioned the will. Listen, you can't put it down. That's why you gotta keep it on cap. You see, that's just the reason right there. We see, if you wake up in the middle of the night and the mothership is hovering right outside the window right there. Right? Let's say you wake up in the middle of the night, the mothership is hovering outside the window, Elijah's on the bullhorn saying, yo, Just, get your ass up. Yeah, it's time to go. See, you don't got time. You don't got time. You can't be a hold up, Elijah. Let me round up my lessons. You know what I mean? Hold on, wait a minute. Let me make sure I got my Quran. You know what I mean? What's this? Now I don't want this Catholic version. Where's my King James version? So you don't want to be doing that. That's why the 5% keep things on cap. You know what I'm saying? See, to all y'all new people, you're welcome. So if you read the last chapter, Spita Svat Torah of the Upanishads, it's all about meditation. Mm-hmm. So you know the seeds of everything. That's actually a class that I have planned coming up. You know, just about how the seeds of, you know, 360 degrees of knowledge is planted in 120. You know what I'm saying? You know, and that's why it's important to learn it and have it on cap. You know what I'm saying? That, you know, a lot of people, this is starting to be the question, you know, why do y'all, you know, deal with 120? You know, the seeds to everything in life is planted in a lot of places. They planted in a lot of books. You know, the wisdom has been accumulated over the millennia, right? But in each day and time that these stuff get written down, right, a certain amount of wisdom and understanding has been accumulated by society at that time. You know what I'm saying? As well as the various, you know, distortions that you get from people adding stories in, people taking stories out. But, you know, when you read 120, it's not telling you nothing really new under the sun. See, the difference is the perspective. The difference is, see, the Upanishads, right? That's probably not even a name. meaning that the Indian people who wrote it, they probably don't call it Upanishads. And if they do, they don't spell it like that. Now, see that difference right there, right, between how they originally manifested it and now the wisdom that is coming to you, the language that is coming to you in, right? Now that's a barrier, right? I gotta go back and get into their way of life and learn about their environment and all of that in order to get the understanding of what that means, right? Because they might be talking about using something for cooking that people ain't used that in thousands of years. Like whatever they see now, if we're going to cook and we're going to tell a story, then we would say, yeah, we put that food on the stove. But see, they didn't have that dish, so now you got to go back and now when they saying that they cooked it on or whatever, now you gotta that's all that's a barrier to you understanding it. But see, Elijah is from right here, right now. Like it's been a minute now, right? It's been a minute now, but look, he just returned in 1975. That's in my lifetime. You know, that's in a time where, you know, is plenty of books, is TV, it's all types of stuff where anybody can go back and observe that time. It's not that long ago. Right? Not going to talk about you know, hunting animals that don't nobody over here know what that is, because those animals is not in the wilderness of North America. See, when you read the 1 in 36, right? Everybody who got this knowledge that read the 1 in 36, right? How much did you have to stretch your imagination to visualize and understand what that was about? Anybody? Raise your hand, right? Type 1 in the comment box if that was a big stretch for you, right, to understand what the 1 in 36 was about. Now, it might be a big stretch for people who's not from here. See, a lot of times when, you know, you speak to other people from around the world about their relationship with Black people from America, a lot of times they say that, yo, we had no idea that that's the history. We didn't even know that happened. You see, with Elijah, we don't have to make no stretches, right? The way that those stories was communicated and everything, right, is readily digestible, right? Even for children. See, it's not thus saith the Lord in the dawn of autumn. You know, all this kind of language. See, who's the original man? That's regular how we speak over here. See, all the terms that he's speaking in, we can understand them readily. That's what is the uniqueness of 120. See, it's compact. You can keep it on cap. See, all that being said, 120 lessons is not our doctrine. See, 120 lessons is what we use to sharpen our skill with supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet. See, because we don't believe in it. See, when you believe in the doctrine, in the prophecy, and the faith, and all that of it, now cipher. That's not what we're doing. See, we are drawing it up, right, so that we can practice using our supreme mathematics and supreme mathematics applied in the real world situations. See, whatever it is, right, in the degrees, right? We at, if you say, tell us what did he promise his nation he would do? All right, but what do you promise your nation you going to do? Now, he dealt with separation and made the devil. Right? Now, we already know, right? Our conclusion is we already know we don't want to make the devil. So we're not going to deal with subtraction. We're going to deal with addition. See, this whole thing is taken away. You're not qualified, get out of here. Reveal the secret, out of here. Black baby, out of here. See, we not on the island of isolation. That's our teachers, right? We are here amongst the people as the people. Anybody can come and learn these teachings, no matter what seed you is. That's what I learned from it. Now look, you got to draw it up. Based upon the environment of your mind, right, and the experiences that you had and the things that you moved through, right, you're going to draw it up based on that. But it appears to be just one of those things that it appears to be difficult. Ghost visuals to deal. It appears to be difficult for some other, people from the outside to be able to comprehend that. You understand what I mean? How 120 is so important, right, as to be foundational to us, right? And then it is not our doctrine. See, because first of all, if it was our doctrine, right, why would we be trying to change it? See, when people believe in a certain book as a doctrine, like for instance, my grandmother, right, when I first turned 5%, right, I came 5%, right, she, her position was that, look, all that militant stuff, look, this is our position right here. Like, this is where God placed us here in the hood under these conditions. And we have to live like this and we got to be the best, do the best we can with this right here. so we can make it into heaven. She told me that to my face. See, that's what happens when you believe in it, right? See, like I said, look, poor righteous teachers, right? We supposed to be taking the poor out the lessons. See, right there, right? It talks about making the devil. We ain't supposed to be making the devil. See, where you see it comes up to right there, it comes up to date. Where it tells you about MGT and GCC and FOI, that's talking about 1934. Now we got to bring it up to 2025. You know, each individual, you got to bring it up to 2025. Or do you just believe in that and we got to keep it like that until December 19th, right? When some of y'all decide to go for the okie doke twice and get back on the ship. You said, doesn't doctrine mean teachings? I was taught the 8 points from the flag represents the math alphabet 110, 114, 140, 136, actual facts, solar facts. Yeah. In terms of the 8 points, with the 8 points stand for, but in terms of doctrine meaning teachings, I think doctrine goes beyond teaching. Somebody give us, you out there, Mr. Green, one likes doing the definitions. Somebody get us the definition, the dictionary definition of doctrine. You know, doctrine is, you know, like when you say teachers, you know, there's a little bit, you know what I'm saying, a doctrine is, you know, that's a little bit more your belief. You know, your doctrine is what your culture is based on. You know what I mean? Your actions is based on a doctrine. You know what I'm saying? And so if we had a doctrine, which I disagree that it's a doctrine, we have principles that guide us in that way, which is supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet. You said, what are you saying? If there is a UFO ship, what happens when we get on? What are you explaining? I mean, Kareem Wattis, are you in and out of the live stream? Because, you know, what I had explained a while ago, right, is that well, Kareem Wattis, are you familiar with the 5%, the NOI, you know, 120 lessons at all? So a doctrine is a belief or set of beliefs held and taught by a church, political party, or other group. The doctrine of predestination, right? That's what I'm saying. A doctrine is a little bit more your belief. You know what I'm saying? Where, you know, I could teach something that I don't, you know, that's not my belief, you know, but that's the truth. Like, I could teach somebody, right, about, you know, about the shield that they used, right? Jesus teaches not Christianity. That's what I'm saying. So I can teach them about the Christianity that's not his teachings, right? That's not my doctrine. You said, I've been listening to you this whole time, but I don't understand anything what you're saying. No, I know about Malcolm X and affiliations, but not anything you're talking about. All right, so let me slow down. Let me slow down, Kareem Waters. Right? He said, doctrine from Latin, doctrina, teaching, learning, from doctor, teacher, or docere, teach. I mean, and that just goes to show you how, why etymology is important. Because we see that at the root, it means teaching and learning, but the way it came to be used, it got a lot of religious connotation. So let's slow down. Let's slow down for Kareem, right? So the reason why I said that is because in the lessons, as well as just in general history, right? It's been passed down that Black people in America, got here on ships, right? And that there was various, just in terms of when you deal with the history in those years, right? Meaning, let's say the year 1500 as a, even though it was a little before that, right? Because the Portuguese and a guy named, was it John the Navigator, they the first ones to make it to West Africa, right? And, at that time in 1500s, they're not a superior military force, right? As well as just they don't know the terrain, and they're not even able to penetrate really past the coast in West Africa in the very beginning. You know what I'm saying? And so, what we understand about the history is that, in the lessons, they're called interorientation, right? So we know that, orientation, that's, when people get, when you get introduced to new people, places, and things, you know what I'm saying, and, get to know what they about, they get to know what you about, interorientations, you know what I'm saying? We know that there was various traders, whether they was trading guns, whether they was trading whiskey or whatever it might have been for the slaves, you know what I'm saying? And, also religion, you know what I mean? Trading the ideas of the religion and all of this various things. And so they got on the ships, you know what I'm saying, based upon some misconceptions. You know what I'm saying? One misconception being that, our Christian brothers wouldn't do certain things to us. You know what I'm saying? Our Christian brothers, would not put us in chattel slavery. You know what I'm saying? If our Christian brothers say that they're taking us someplace where there's all this gold and we're going to be able to bring it back and then everybody here is going to be able to prosper, right? Or if our Christian brothers say that, look, I can hand over some people that's in the kingdom that they've been rebelling against me and I don't like them, I can give you them, and then, the whole kingdom will receive more gold and will be better off, right? And so you get on the ship for that purpose, and you end up with the 400 years of what happened. And so what I was doing is, and one of the key things, I left this out, right, is that the lessons also tell us that, you know, on the planet Earth, that the original man had already chosen the best part. And so, you know, now this is, I'm adding in my own reasoning right here, right? Is that if I'm already on the best part, and somebody tells me that somehow I'm gonna get some better stuff somewhere else, then that was a little bit of a foolish move on my part. You understand what I'm saying? To follow this person, right? If I already knew that I was sitting on the part with the most riches. You know what I'm saying? And so we say that understanding is the best part, and the 5%, right? This is one of the things that we teach, right? That, you know, understanding is the babies, you know what I mean, et cetera, et cetera. Like I said, I don't know how familiar you are with us, right? And so understanding is the third principle in our supreme mathematics, right? And the planet Earth is the third planet in our solar system. And so we also draw that parallel that just like on the planet Earth, we chose the best part for ourselves. You know, in the solar system, we also chose the best part for ourselves, you know, which we can easily tell by the fact that, you know, we can't even physically survive in the rest of the solar system. So, bringing it back to what I was saying there is I was drawing a parallel that if somebody comes with a ship now, right, and says, look, I'm going to take you somewhere else that's going to be the promised land. That might, you know, that might end up being a parallel situation, right? Being that we know that this planet right here is the best place for us. So, you know, hopefully that didn't overcomplicate things for you. You know, Kareem Wattis. But Kareem Wattis, what brings you? Where you from, right? And what brings you to our channel? You know, because you've been on quite a while. So, you know, what interested you? What interested you in this? You from Baltimore, all right? And what brings you to the Random Jewels channel? You should have said something a while ago. We would have been slowed down. Oh, you are okay. Oh, so you've been yeah, I thought I saw your name before. So just in general, it pops up in your suggestions. So I guess you probably watch some other you know, people that kind of speak from a conscious perspective. You know, me personally, I don't consider myself a part of the conscious community, you know, because it's you know, that's specific. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're saying, you know, I deal with, you speak from a conscious perspective, that's one thing, but you know, that's a particular community, you know what I'm saying, of people. You don't know anything about the 5%. I mean, see, I mean, now look, that's good and bad. That's see, because look, see when you say right here, right? I don't know anything about the 5%, but I enjoy how you speak. See, you made me look bad. See, because you make the other 5% wonder, well, how he listen to you speak and he don't know nothing about the 5%. You know, it's almost like, look, it's like look, how LeBron James your best friend and you don't know nothing about the NBA. You never heard of the NBA. See, it's double edge right there. There's a double edge right there. Kareem Waters. But look, I'm gonna survive. I'm gonna get out of it. I'm gonna get out of it, but you just threw me under the bus like wait right there. Like wait. Oh, this is the first time I came in and your suggestions. You know, I guess that's good and bad. You know, it's bad because, you know, why would they, you know, you know, I would think that it would be certain people that is in the demographics, right, that the alerts would go out to. You know what I'm saying? But then at the same time, look, better late than never. You said the mothership better not arrive before GTA 6 launches. Look, I already told you. December 19th, get your affairs in order. That's all I can tell you. Get your affairs in order. Nah, Kareem, aside, I was just that's just a little that was some 5% humor right there. See, look, a lot of people don't understand. A lot of people don't understand 5% humor. That's why I tell people when they come in the comment section, right? Don't be joking. And a lot of people that's either new to the 5% or they not really familiar with the 5%, they be telling jokes that's not funny to us. I seen it happen. And see, the funnier the person thinks they are, the less funny the jokes are. That's it. See, it's the people who's not trying to be funny. Those would be the people that we be like, oh man, like see Professor Liang, he's hilarious. Because he's not trying to be funny. He's getting his point across. So you know that's my fault. I didn't let you in on that. Let you know, but yeah, that was just a little 5% humor. I'm not really in trouble. So you said, how do you join the 5%? See, look, here's some more 5%. Look, I'm gonna give you a heads up. This is some 5% humor coming right now. You don't join the 5%. The 5% joins you. That's just a little more 5% humor. You know what I'm saying? But in all reality, look, we gotta tag you in. It's like wrestling. You know what I'm saying? You know, the reality, you know, let me keep it 100, because see, that's what it is too. See, I get carried away. You see what I mean? Because I'm dealing with these other people. You see? But really, see, as a teacher, this is what I post. So let me be serious. You see, the 5%, right? This knowledge, right? You know, these principles, right? The principle of who you are is already in you. is who you are, right? And see, what we could do, right, is give you some knowledge and some tools that'll bring that out of you. So see, what we teach is that the black man is God and that the black woman is the earth, right? The white man is the devil, and the white man is the devil, and the white woman is the she-devil. This is what we teach, right? And we teach that, whatever is gonna happen, whether it's happened in our past or whether it's something that is destined for us in the future, that the power and the execution for all that to happen exists amongst those people right there. Those is all the people that's walking around on the planet right now. You know what I'm saying? And really we could take the black and the white out of it. You know what I'm saying? And we could just say that, there's various ideas. Some of these ideas is harmful. You know what I'm saying? Some of these ideas, we have various ideas that, those ideas have an impact on reality. Like I had an idea, I'm gonna go live, and now there's an impact for the people who ever check it, you know what I'm saying, and get something from it. You know what I'm saying? And those ideas and the decisions that we make, whether to execute on those ideas or not, right, is what creates our heaven or hell right here on the planet. That, whatever salvation or whatever damnation that we receive, right, is going to be something that we achieve. You know what I mean? You're not just receiving that out the blue. You achieve that through, the completion of your, ideas, right, into actions and inactions. You know what I'm saying? And, if you understand those principles, right, if those principles spark something inside of you, right, then, you begin to study and acquire the knowledge and the tools, right, to put that power that you have inside you into a kinetic a kinetic form instead of just potential. You being from Baltimore, see, we don't have the bar in here right now. You know what I'm saying? But the bar is from Baltimore. That part I was being humorous about, right? But in order to be this, right? See, this is what I'm saying. It's something that you have to walk with somebody who's at 5%. Because see, like I said, we can't teach you to be you. You see what I mean? But what happens when you walk with 5%, right, and you see how he manifests, right, and then now he provides an example for you. You see what I mean? You have an example. Without that example, right, you lost with the tools. You know what I mean? Especially in the world that we in right now, where there's so much different examples of how to live. Like, you could just flip through YouTube and you see people living millions of different ways. You understand what I'm saying? So in reality, when you see somebody who's put these tools into kinetic into kinetic form, right? Then that's when, you know, if this is you, right? That's when you know what you need to do. You understand what I'm saying? But, you know, like I said, nobody can teach you to be you, right? But they just have more experience. They have more experience with keeping these principles in a kinetic flow. You see what I'm saying? And once you see that kinetic flow, right? If this is you, it's gonna spark something in you, and then you will start putting it together. You know what I'm saying? You said that's very interesting. I've never heard of anything like that. I mean, look, uh, that makes at least two of us. I'm sure, because look, I never heard nothing like that. I never heard nothing like that my first time either. Pause. But you know, that definitely we could say uh, that's one thing. That's one thing we have in common. That I've never experienced anything quite like the 5%. See, that's the thing. See, like when I said, see, because that's the see. Once you see the kinetic flow, right, you can't really fuck up. It's like you taking a test, right, and the test is about you. Like if you was in school and you was taking a test, and the test is about you, you can't flunk. But if you try to answer the questions for somebody else, you're gonna flunk every time. Bernadette Bernie, welcome to the channel. Welcome back. He says, so why walk with someone when everybody manifests themselves different with information people can only teach you from their perceptions? Well, I disagree with that. You know, I disagree. Well, you're not saying that fully, but let me make my statement, right? Is that everything is not perception. There are objective realities. You know, I'm not saying that, you know, everything is objective reality, but there are objective realities. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we especially see objective reality in results. You know what I'm saying? Meaning that you know, I could have an idea, for instance, right? You have people that say there's no such thing as gravity. And so what I say is, look, if you want to prove that, go on the roof and jump off. Not one person has taken me up on that. See, yeah, you may have, you know, your perception of what's causing things to touch the ground. You may have a different education about it, whatever it may be. But see, the result of you jumping off of the building is going to be objective. You understand what I'm saying? And the principles that we deal with is objective reality. And so, yeah, you know, this person is gonna have their perspective, right, that they speaking from, right? You know, they have their various experiences, you know what I'm saying, that, you know, they've you know, that's formed a lens through which they have their perception. You know what I'm saying? But you know, even though what they're manifesting is their perception is still their rendition of the rendition is the wrong word. It's their manifestation of these principles in motion. So what I'm saying is this, right? Let's say it's a bowl of fruit, right? And you tell 100 artists to paint the bowl of fruit, right? Those 100 artists is going to paint that bowl of fruit a little bit different. You know what I'm saying? But once you've been around a couple of brothers painting that bowl of fruit, right? Then, okay, I see where you got that paint from. You know what I'm saying? I see, like, look, you see the person, right? They got red, yellow, and blue. Remember we used to have that? And remember you see somebody and they be done mixed they shit and made a color, they done made a shade that you didn't make over here. You like, how you did that? They're like, yeah, I mixed it in, but now I put a little more of this right here though. See, now once I seen how you did that, all right, now you know what? When I do mine, it may not be the same exact shade, but so you showed me the science of how to do that. You see what I'm saying? And now I could do my own. Like, oh, snap. The whole time, I've been just making, you know, and that happened to me. When the first day they took, I just was making the colors they showed us on the board. Like, yeah, I mixed the yellow and the blue and had green, right? I mixed the yellow and the red, but I didn't, other people had brown and pink and all types of colors. I'm like, yo, how you did that? So that's why, you know, and without walking with those people that painted the picture, it's like not even knowing what a bowl is. It's like you don't know if the fruit go inside the bowl or the bowl go inside the fruit unless you walk with somebody who shows you how to paint that bowl of fruit in terms of 5%. You know, maybe there's some other things in the world, you know, I'm not aware of them right now, right? That you could just, you know, learn to do. Just see, you know, even babies, they learn to walk and they see you walking. If everybody else just crawled around, right, they would never dawn on them. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to be in that environment. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, I heard people, they was talking about the experiment. I'm gonna start. This was some of that. This was some of that Mohammedan reality right here. I'm gonna hit y'all with some Mohammedan reality. I was like, yes, I gotta start using that. I gotta start using that. Where they was saying that they did a cricket experiment, right? And in the cricket experiment, they put the crickets in a jar, right? And then put a paper over the jar and poke holes in the paper so that the crickets could breathe and they could feed them or whatever, right? And so after whatever period of time, they took the crickets out of the jar and the crickets could only jump that high, is where the paper was. And see, that's kind of what we, you know, that's what we saying is that, you know, in as 85s, we've been in that jar with the paper on it, right? But we still grasshoppers. See, so yeah, right now we've only learned to jump that high. But see, if we get around some grasshoppers, that's jumping full blast, then we gonna realize we got that power in us. You're gonna start running with the big dogs. So why not work with someone who is living the culture that's the original way before the internet? I mean, pretty much that's the only way. The internet is not a way. The internet is something, right, where, you know, you could be exposed to, various things, whatever it is. You know what I'm saying? Meaning, like, look, and I look at that. You know what I mean? I like the Arctic, like just in general, right? I like when I watch nature on TV, right? So like, I'm not a pet person, right? I like animals, but I like them living in their house. I live in my house, right? You be in your natural habitat, I be in my natural habitat. But there's certain habitats that I like better than other habitats. You know what I'm saying? Like I like the Arctic, I like the Serengeti. You know what I'm saying? I don't like out there, like the steppes of Asia over there, the steppes of Russia. I don't like it. It's too boring. You know what I'm saying? I like Yellowstone. I like the wolves. I like I like I like how when they get on somebody's ass and they done. I like the wolves. You know what I'm saying? But at any rate, saying that, I see all those various environments, right? And I like them, and I can tell you all types of stuff. Yo, bro, I don't know how cold it is. I don't know how that feels. I don't know how that feels, man. Like, you know how you come out the airport? You know how you come out the airport with your luggage? and, and you waiting for the person, you waiting for your family or whoever to pull up and pick you up? Or you going out there to catch the cab, you know what I'm saying? And depending on where you at. Like you come somewhere up here like the Northeast. Like I said, I'm from the Northeast, so it don't affect me as much. But I'm sure, look, if you somewhere like Texas, you know what I'm saying? And that nor'easter air hit you, you like, whoa, whoo. You see what I'm saying? Or like, look, I go down to Florida, right? You in Miami, and you step outside, and that heat jump on you like a blanket, like somebody threw a blanket over your head. See, that's what I'm saying. You can't explain that about a place where you never was. That's the difference. See, I see people make all kinds of foods. I don't know how it smells like when they cooking it. I don't know what it tastes like. I can't tell you how, like, oh yeah, with that, I like string beans with that particular, you know what I mean? Like, see, I don't like fish and sweet peas. See, that's because I had both of them before, so I know how to deal with this. I know when I you know what I'm saying, I ate various things, so I know what I want to eat if I'm eating fish. You know what I'm saying? I like more, you know what I'm saying, black beans or maybe kidney beans or something like that if I'm eating fish. You see, how do you know, if somebody who never had that meal before, how they know what it tastes like? That's why the internet is not a way. Yeah, you could download the lessons on the internet. But it's going to be the same way. Where, see, they could tell me that the hieroglyphics on the wall say this or that, right? But I don't know what it sounds like. There's nobody actually right now. That's the thing. There's people that comprehend it and transliterate it, but nobody speaks, nobody knows what the accent sounded like of the people who wrote those hieroglyphics on the wall. And see, this is some of the same stuff that we get in 120 lessons, right? And these various stories, these are stories of righteous people and unrighteous people, right? And various situations they was in, right? And these lessons tell us about how righteous people handle the situation, and tell us how unrighteous people handle the situation, and tell us how they came out. You know what I'm saying? It tells us about these righteous people and these unrighteous people and their interactions amongst each other. And so now the key is, right, once you see that example, right, so now you can recognize the unrighteous person and keep them off your planet, right? Because we've seen that that is the best way, is to preserve the best part for yourself and keep those others out on the worst part from the jump. See, that's something I learned in 120 lessons. That's not what the quote, that's not what the quotation say, but that's something I learned in 120 lessons. You know what I mean? That I do every day. You know, second to second. See? So we got any other questions out there? You know what I mean? You know, once again, the bidding is open. Cash App is pinned to the top right there. You got until December 17th to make your winning bid. Yeah, but Kareem Wattis, I meant to say that too. If you keep coming in, right, make sure to say peace, because there's a brother that is he's from Baltimore, that he comes on and check us out over here. So maybe you could, you know what I'm saying, start to, you know, check it out and see what it is. You know what I mean? See if it's for you. You said, other than the knowledge degree in the 1 to 10, what was the first degree you memorized? The wisdom degree in the 1 to 10? any good books to read? Well, I mean, it depends on what you're into, what you're trying to find out. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, my general suggestion, right? You know what I'm saying, is for you to learn 120 lessons, right? You know, get your mathematics on cap, learn 120 lessons, and then read everything. See, just in general, you know, we all, you know, we interested in different things. Just like you got science, right? And you got different kind of scientists. You know, you got physicists, you got chemists, you got biologists. You understand what I'm saying? And so, you know, let's just say even in the catalog of Elijah Muhammad, right? You know, Theology of Time or How to Eat to Live, right? Depends on which one you more interested in. You know what I'm saying? In terms of history, right? Or dietary law. You know what I'm saying? You know, but look, that's always a good place to start right there. You know what I'm saying? Is the Elijah Muhammad books, you know, to learn, you know, some of the history of what you're dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Like you go around reading all this other stuff, you know, and see the things why I say, you know, uh, study your lessons and everything, right? So you could be grounded. You see what I find for some people uh, that see when you start getting this knowledge, right? Uh, you start questioning everything you've ever been taught. You know what I'm saying? And you know, sometimes because of that, you could be easily led. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, you are 5% of the day, but then you read the Upanishads like the brother said, and then you Hindu and shit. You know what I'm saying? You know, you read the Bible and then you Hebrew Israelite. You know what I'm saying? You read the papyrus and you know now you walking around with a serpent on your head. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you're not grounded in who you are, right? So when you look in these various books, right? When people read books, you know, when you experience things in general, you identify, you know, with certain characters, certain information that you get or whatever, you know what I'm saying? And it can easily be distorted. You know what I mean? So, you know, before you enter into that world, that's really my only suggestion. You know what I'm saying? Because once you get into, you know, past children's books is written for a particular reason. They're written for children. So for the most part, you can read any children's book. You know what I'm saying? But you know, because you know, I have some stuff that I read that I don't even uh, you know, I don't agree with this person or the perspective that they really coming from in the book. You know what I'm saying? But I might just want to read, you know what I'm saying? Or it might just be interesting, you know what I'm saying? Uh, you know, it's still, even though I don't agree with it, it might be something in there still that I add on to my knowledge. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, that being said, like I said, you know, Elijah Muhammad's books is a good place to start. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, you know, what is it that, uh, you know, what is it that you're interested in? what is it that you're interested in? Yeah, so y'all never guess who that was. All right, look, I'm gonna give y'all 5 guesses. I'm gonna give y'all 5 guesses who just called me and caused that little cut off. 5 guesses. Shit, that's a lot. But I'm gonna give y'all five guesses. Another question to add on to: how frequently do you recommend fasting in order to maintain good health? And do you prescribe one meal a day, generally speaking? No. See, one meal a day. I mean, you know what a lot of things come down to is what you're doing. You got to be. If you live in a kind of life, right, where you can survive off of one meal a day, then yes, it's perfectly okay. You know what I mean? It's definitely, you know, it's it's the body. So you expend your energy, and that's why you eat, right? To live. Uh, but like if you work construction, right, then nah, don't be eating one time a day. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Depending on what it is that you may have to do, and then I guess too, it depends on what food it is that you have access to. You know what I'm saying? Like maybe there's things that about in the in the in the in the world of nutrition that can last like that. You know what I'm saying? But like, see, you're gonna be doing all this, hitting the pull-up bar and all that. Then nah, one meal a day is not gonna, you in a situation where, you know, you never know when you might have to defend yourself or something like that. Then nah, that's one meal a day. In terms of fasting, I mean, I still like the old school way. You know what I'm saying? Where fasting once a month. I'm this year, but I actually already had that in mind. I'm fasting next month. In December, I'm a fast. But you know, that varies too. You know what I'm saying? Some people fast 1 day a week. You know what I'm saying? Some people fast, 3 days a month. Some people have gone beyond that. You know what I'm saying? But 3 days, generally speaking, right, that's good. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't want to be, fasting to the point where now you wasting away and all of that. Said Rudolph Windsor, J.A. Rogers, Carter G. Woodson. Right. Now that's what I'm saying. Right. If those is, those is books for people that's just waking up. In my opinion. You know what I mean? Like I said, books is for, whoever is interested in reading them. You know what I'm saying? But just in general, I'm saying, like if that's what he was saying, right? Things to, wake people up, Superman and man and all those types of things. That's what those books is excellent for. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the political and social and economic kind of hurdles that original people was given over here, that brought us to today's condition. But you might want to learn about cybersecurity. That's what I'm saying. It's all right. So Don Bishop, I don't know how you did it, but yeah, in fact, that was King Son. So he left me a message there. You know what I'm saying? So when I get off of here, I'll see what our brother needs. You know what I'm saying? Or what it is that he's communicated with me about. You know what I'm saying? But yeah. It's not that I don't want to be me, right? But sometimes I be wondering, like, is there a different way that I could have been me, right? That would have been, I guess, just easier at the end. I don't even know how is there, could I have done this better? I mean, I guess you could always, there's always room for improvement. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes that's why, a lot of people think, I'm like Batman. That's what it is. imagine, right? Imagine if Random Jewels, right, was 24 hours of your life. Imagine that. Because that's what it is. Welcome to my life. He said, and factor in how much you can eat in one sitting as well. If you're trying to eat more, for instance, drink way more water, and after a day or so, your stomach will expand and you can eat more. I mean, I don't know if most of the people in America need their stomach expanded. I'm just stuff I see it on the news. I don't yeah, I don't want to fire any shots. But I don't know if most of the people in America need any more food than because they just gonna fill up that extra space with hot Cheetos. It's just it's not like they gonna put string beans in that extra space. Speaking of how to eat the live. So if you Batman now, did they used to call you Crazy Joe? Joe? It's not Batman's name. His name's Bruce. So we about to go ahead and take this one down. You know what I'm saying? I think we covered some ground here today. You know, it turned out to be a good class. You know, shout out to Kareem Wattis. You know what I'm saying? And anybody else that's new, you know what I'm saying, or you know, you just you know, you checking it out, you know what I'm saying? Don't hesitate if you have a question or something you don't understand, you know, to speak up. Because you know, unfortunately for a lot of people, right, they don't, you know, they don't truly understand that see a 5% at the end of the day, when you take away all the other fancy talk, right, the 5% is a teacher. And so, you know, it's all fine and good. You know, we discuss certain things with the brothers, but, you know, it's more important for those that don't know, you know, those that do know, yeah, we can discuss the topic, but if we teach it, then we need to be speaking to the people who don't know. So, you know, I appreciate y'all coming on and, you know, giving me an opportunity to, you know, be serious, you know, because like I said, sometimes I do get carried away with humor, you know what I'm saying, and just dealing with positive equality. You know what I'm saying? We're not here to, you know, make the people afraid of us. You know what I'm saying? We're not here, you know, everything is not a reason to take 4 heads. You know what I'm saying? So we do enjoy ourselves while teaching this knowledge, you know what I'm saying? But you know, yeah, shout out to Ghost Visuals too. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? New to the runners over here. You know, but you know, everybody who is new, of course, you know, do the each one teach one. Hit the like button, subscribe, hit the notification bell so you can know when we come in. You know what I'm saying? You know, those of y'all who haven't been studying your lessons, you haven't been building, teaching the babies, make sure you hit that cash app by December 19th. Mothership touching down. You gotta have that cash app by December 17th. Mothership touching down December 19th. Be there or be square.